Welcome to the Utah Puck Report. It's your friend in hockey, your host, Jay Stevens. Glad to be here. And I got to thank my sponsors, Larry H. Miller, Toyota in Murray, because without them, we couldn't do the show. If there's no money, there's no show. And speaking of money, for just $299 a month, for 36 months, you can have yourself a 2025 Toyota Tacoma SR5 double cab. Just reach out to those fine folks at Larry H. Miller, Toyota in Murray, and tell them we sent you. Today, our guest, one of our favorite guests from last season. Always fun to talk to Matt Villalta from, you know, you're one of our goaltenders, and last year everything was kind of like full speed ahead, right? Like just craziness left and right for you guys. So now that you've got into it more, first let's start with how was your summer? What did you get to do?
Jay, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure getting to chat with you. But yeah, summer was great. Spent her back home in Godfrey, Ontario. A lot of fishing. Spent some time on the farm, back in the countryside. So it's a nice relaxing period for a week or two, and then kind of just get her fired up again and hit the gym, get back on the ice, get back in the groove of things, and get the body ready. And then I shipped her out here probably. I think I got to town August 3rd, so it was nice to get out here early and get in the gym with the boys and get on the ice and kind of do some exploring of Utah as well. So it was a lot of fun and it was a very productive summer.
Yeah, it sounds like it was. It sounds now you're like a hardcore fisherman hunter guy. You've got farm property we discovered that you live on in where are you? It's from Saskatoon?
Godfrey, Ontario. Yes, sir.
Godfrey. Okay. All
So
right.
Canada. So Canada's, beautiful, beautiful country. There's
Yeah,
lots
from
of nice land out there.
outstanding for sure. But now you're in Utah. Are you getting to explore and go to our fishing holes and get out and see what we've got to offer?
Yes, sir. I was kind of, obviously fishing in general. Grew up doing it since I was a kid, and it's one of my favorite hobbies I really enjoy. So, coming out to Utah, obviously Utah is a beautiful state, and there's plenty of opportunity for fishing and fishing different species, and there's just so many different spots you can go. So, I ended up downloading the Utah DNR app. So I just uploaded my fishing license on there, and then it's a pretty cool app. So you can do like a fishing planner and shows tons of different like fishing spots, reservoirs, rivers, little streams you can hit up. And just downloaded that. And whenever I had time after morning workout and practice, I would usually go on the app and just click a spot and just go adventure up there and check it out and hopefully catch some fish. So uh,
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
yeah. We've got so much to offer, and I used to it just blew my mind that we could just you know rainbow trout are 15 minutes from my house. It's easy to go fishing.
Yes, sir.
Um, I want to go back a little bit over the summer, and for goalies, it's not that goalies always go through finding out whether their team's going to be called finally, but goalies, one of the first things they start thinking about when they see a logo or they might sign with a team is their gear.
Mhm.
Um, First off, like what name were you kind of hoping for, and what did you think when you heard that it was Mammoth?
That's a good question. I think the Mammoth it's a great name. I think it ties in well with, Utah and kind of, the theme of things and obviously being like a winter state. Obviously Utah's known for skiing and the snow and especially in the mountains and the Mammoth was I believe it was an ice age animal. So I think it's perfect and I think the Mammoth or I know the Yeti was a cool name.
Yeah.
I think that just has a nice ring to it. And obviously, I didn't know if the whole Yeti cooler thing or whatnot, if that would work out with trademarks and whatnot. But um, I think the people and the whole organization did a great job with the Mammoth. And it sounds great. It's a beautiful logo, great colors. I know powder blue is my favorite color. So uh, doing all the gear and all the setup, it's pretty neat. To be able to rep the colors.
Yeah, I saw like I've seen most of your gear. You went mostly white with some blue in it.
Yes, sir. So the boys from Vaughn, Scotty Hughes and the whole gang there at Vaughn Custom Sports did a bang up job as usual. And yeah, I kind of did a vintage theme this year. So vertical stitch, Vaughn retro logos, in the powder blue, and just kind of black on the sides and the back, and kind of the vintage the knee roll wrap kind of wraps around on the outer roll. So I was talking to Mr. Corey Schwab about what's like more of a vintage look, and he said, yeah, the knee rolls going into the outside of the pad. That's how I guess it looked kind of more old school. So I rocked with that, and I think they turned out great, and I think they look sharp with the uniforms.
What's on your mask this season?
The mask, I did an Ice Age theme. So I watched the Ice Age movies, and I think, as you know, and everyone out there, I like doing cartoon themes for my helmets. And this year I figured it'd be a perfect tie-in with Ice Age, and I did Manny the Mammoth. I got Sid the Sloth on the other side in a Utah jersey holding a goalie stick. And then I got Scrat, that little squirrel who chases an
Yeah.
acorn around the whole movies or
Yeah.
all the movies. He's riding a John Deere tractor on the back. So back home on the farm, we got a John Deere, and I usually throw that on the back of most of my helmets. And now he's full steam ahead on the tractor chasing it. So it should be pretty cool. Shout out to my painter, Dave Freed in Calgary. He does an outstanding job, and it's just a pleasure, that he can whip up something pretty cool every year. So still waiting on it for it to come in. I haven't made the debut with it yet, but very excited when it does.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. And I just added him. I didn't realize that was your painter. I'm my painter retired. I've got a mask coming. I'm
No
like,
way.
I gotta figure, well, that's what happens when you get old and I was with him from the beginning, but um so talk to us a little bit about last season and some of the craziness that you got. Like you told us your draft story before. That seemed like it was kind of crazy being, you had phone problems and stuff, but now you're in the NHL, you're getting called up. You got a game last year, and how crazy was everything going around you, and how do you always maintain just being so mellow?
Yeah, I think last year, just to touch on, I guess the call up part, it's just something as the year goes on, you just kind of, you work hard, you show up every day, and I'm a type of person who kind of just, it's one day at a time. That's my process. Um, and just focus on getting better every single day, that 1%. And, just live in your shoes, live in the moment. And at the end of the day, nothing's earned. I mean, everything's earned. You have to earn everything, and nothing's given. So that's just kind of my mindset on that. And down in Tucson, just playing, working on my game, making it more predictable, more efficient, kind of turning it more into an NHL style. So it translates when I did get up, and that was just kind of my goal every day. Just process, and that was it. And the call up day, I think we're down in San Diego. We're slated to play the Gulls, and yeah, actually we had a day off, so we went to the Padres home opener. So that was a good day, and then just went out for supper with the boys. And next thing you know, I got a phone call from Mr. Ludwig, and said, "You're hopping on a flight. You got a red eye to Florida." And at that moment, just ship her back to the hotel, get an Uber, and pack up your stuff and head her to the airport. And obviously, it was a very cool moment. Anytime you get to have that opportunity of being called up, and having an opportunity to wear the Utah jersey, it's an honor. And yeah, just going up there, it's from the game aspect of things, nothing changes. It's the same game. The puck's the same size, the net's the same size. If anything, the game's just a little bit quicker, and you're playing with the best players in the NHL, and you're playing against the best players. So the biggest thing for me was kind of on a mindset thing was, having the pace down in Tucson, having that, setting that tone of, games like everything's full out. You're competing every single day. You're being the best version of yourself, and I think it set me up well for the call up, and ultimately getting an opportunity in Nashville.
Yeah, and you played great then, and then we got to see you play in the preseason so far already. You look like you're calm. You look like you've got everything, like you're controlling the game well. It seems like everything is there for you. Is when you go back home during the summer, do you come in with a list? Does your goalie coach watch you during the season and be like, all right, these are the things we're going to fine tune, or does Corey Schwab give you a list of things to work on? Like, how do you gain more control of your game like that? Like, what's your advice to a kid listening right now that helped you this summer?
Yeah, I think to touch on the first part of that question is obviously we have our exit meetings, and throughout the year we're constantly in it, like every day talking with the goalie coach, asking what he sees, and he's basically our eyes on us every single day. So just having that open line of communication, and having a plan of what to touch up. Even if you're doing something well, you just keep working on it, keep at it. Make sure you're consistent with it every single day. And I think the biggest thing for me this summer was just working on my hands, my posture, save execution, making sure I'm staying over top of pucks, close to pucks, and just kind of making the game just more predictable. Instead of playing the same play three different ways, I think it's good to have all the tools in the tool bag, but you got to be predictable and just kind of fine tuning that side of things. And just making it efficient. And I think another big part of that was, obviously work a lot on your game throughout the summer. And with our goalie coach back home, we kind of bring home, some notes, and you talk to my guy back home, Andrew Mercer. He's based in Ottawa. And yeah, kind of just have a plan with him, sit down, talk. And then he also has some stuff that, you know, he he sees, and we'll just work on it. Very open book though, very easygoing. And I think another layer of that too is you do a lot of work on the ice, um, just practicing every day and working on things. But I think a big part of being a goaltender, and I think any athlete in general, is your mental side. So working with sports psych, if you will. So I got Vince Lodato, works here in Utah and Tucson. So I think just working on the mental game. Obviously you gotta stay sharp in the net. You gotta find, your arousal levels. You can't be like too wound up. You can't be like too mellow. You just kind of gotta find that perfect like slot for you, if you will. And yeah, just kind of making sure that's sharp and healthy, and you're in a good mind state. So those are the key things I think I worked on this summer. And I think for any kid or anyone who's younger and they're aspiring to be a goaltender, I think it's just important to, you show up every single day, you work as hard as you can control what you can control, and what you can't. And I think the biggest thing there is, just being open to everything. You never stop learning. You can learn just from watching your peers. You can learn from our goalie coaches. You can learn through conversation with your teammates. And I think just being an open book, and, just having that will to learn. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's interesting, and for me, it was once I realized, okay, I know what I should have stopped. I know what realistic expectations are out of me as a person, as a goaltender or whatever, and then being able to deal with the rest of it. That was always big for me mentally. But the fact that you brought up that you guys actually have somebody working with you to help you with the mental part of the game, that's so big. And I think sports psychology is underutilized for the most part, especially for youth. I got one more question I want to ask you because there's a lot of different guys in the locker room, right? Like, it's who surprised you this year as being entertaining, and like who's just the Energizer Bunny in the locker room this year that you've seen?
That's a great question. I think everyone has I think we all bring our own unique personalities to the room, and obviously some guys are gonna, be a little louder than others, and I think that's a good thing. And I think there's a lot of comfort in the locker room, so everyone's just being themselves. But I think one's just Durs, very outgoing, funny guy, always in a good mood. Nate Schmidt, he I don't think he ever has a bad day, which is very cool. He's always cracking jokes, having fun. So I think he's a new one, obviously the organization, but I think just the way he carries himself, and the way he just kind of interacts with everyone, it's awesome. And Ian Cole's another guy, especially for me. He's an awesome dude, a great leader on the team, a great veteran, and yeah, he's an ultimate dude. So I think just everyone in general, though. We all have fun. The vibes are great here, and I think we're just all very excited to get the season rolling. And I think it's even better that everyone has a super good relationship with each other.
Yeah, seems like a really tight knit team. Matty V, you're one of our favorites. We're excited to see you this season, and we just want to wish you the best luck and thank you for being on the show today.
Jay, thank you. I appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure.
All right, and that is the Utah Puck Report.